Lily's selfishness is out of hand. She's actually egocentric. Alcohol isn't an excuse and it's not even funny. Big Brother UK episode 20, and Martha is becoming more two-faced as the minutes tick by. She was sitting talking to Shagan and Hannah out in the garden, and she was talking about fighting with her sisters, and she says, oh, fighting with Hannah is like fighting with my sisters. But Hannah was doing it as well, because she's like, oh yeah, that's what it's like fighting with my sisters, because they know how to push my buttons. I am the sort of person, I am not just going to agree with you just to keep the peace. If I disagree, it doesn't matter what it's about, I'll say. We don't have to get into a fight about it. But even in work, if my manager tells me we should do this and I've got a different idea, I'll say, what about this? Then if they say no, do my idea, I'm like, right, fine. I'm not just an agreeable person. I can't stand people who just say, yep, and nod their head, just to save an argument. But if I was Hannah and she says, oh, we're like sisters, I'd have been like, no, my sister's no better than to cross me, babe. This is extremely unfortunate because when Martha went in, I thought she seemed like a nice person, loved her sparkly dress. People online were like, I work with Martha, she's amazing, everybody in work loves her, she gets on with everybody in work. But as we know from the other night, there's people in work that she doesn't like, so she's obviously really two-faced. The phone rang and I love the phone challenges. Sarah answered the phone and she's like, hello, in her posh voice. And I hate to say this, but I'm starting to really like Sarah. The other day somebody commented and says, oh, you always change your mind about people. I do change my mind about people. I do that in real life as well. I'm not the sort of person who's like, this person's my favourite, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter how they treat people. Your opinions are going to change based on other people's actions. And I actually think that Sarah's quite funny. So Big Brother says that she had to make over somebody in the house and she got Marcello and she just swapped clothes with him. And Marcello is so, he was not into it, right? I'm surprised they even got him to do it when she was trying to put lip gloss and that on him. And he's like, oh no, I've got a name for myself in the streets. And I was like, I know what that name is. Skis bag. Martha receives a scam call and she's told to take all the tea, coffee and tang fastics to the diary room. And I can lose my temper over things, mainly people talking to me like crap or calling me a liar or trying to keep me up all night and just acting like a child. But one thing that I would not lose my mind over is somebody taking away the tea and coffee or sweeties or crisps or chocolate. Dean needs to get a grip of himself. Like, the way he was acting over that, I know that people can be addicted to tea and coffee and I don't really drink it, but it was just like, right, calm down. He's actually got a nasty streak in him. Part number 1 of tonight's episode with Lily is a selfish bitch, and the housemates just enable it. Lily was looking for the rest of the Biscoff spread. Keep in mind that she'd already ate half the jar with a spoon by double dipping before, so Thomas, Marcello and somebody else had the jar. So when she went to Martha, she's like, oh, where's the spread? Where's the spread? Somebody's had the spread. It must have been Sarah. Who tells her? Only the person who doesn't gossip in the house, Martha. So she takes a big massive spoonful of this spread and she says to Thomas, why did you say you didn't know where the spread is? Now, any other person, me for example, I would have said, well, you've already ate half the jar and you're a greedy fucking bitch. That's why I didn't tell you where it is. And now you've basically ate the rest of the jar. You've got no consideration for the rest of the house. And once again, everybody's shitting herself to say anything to her because they're like, oh, she's so young. I don't want to come across as a bully. She's 20 years of age. And the fact that nobody ever speaks up and they just let her away with everything, it drives me fucking crazy. I've had messages, so many messages saying, stop picking on Lily, she's just a young girl, stop picking on Lily. I went into this last night and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt because everybody's like, oh, she's so cute, she's hilarious, even though I don't think that, right? And I thought, I'm going to give her a chance here. But then this was just the first part of me being like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how can people even support her? Whether or not she's acting ditzy or screaming or whatever for the cameras, her selfishness is off the fucking charts. Lily and Hannah were in the bedroom speaking, and Lily was saying that she felt lonely because she didn't have her regular people to talk to. And she says, oh, the people in the house will say, oh, you're doing amazing, but they don't know you, but they like you, so they don't want to think bad of you. And I'm like, do they like you though? Do they? Other than Ali, do they actually like you? I doubt it. So Hannah was like, the problem with people in the house is they speak to you like a child, and you're a 20-year-old woman and they need to speak to you the way they speak to everybody else. And I was like, yes, Hannah, fucking yes. And she's sitting going, yeah. But she doesn't want people to speak to her like an adult because then they'll just all tell her to get to fuck. Rosie picked up the phone and Big Brother says she'd won a prize, and when he was asking her name he kept saying all different types of potato, and after like the second time my friend was like, I would just hang up. And I says, but she might not get the prize, and he went, we've seen this a million times, they do it in Big Brother Australia all the time, she's not getting a prize. And she was absolutely freaking out. But I must admit, when they says to Sarah, oh, we've got somebody on the line, please hold, I thought they were going to leave her on hold for like 4 hours, because I've seen that happening in other ones before. But she was going fucking mental. Marcello answered the phone and they had to pass the phone on to whoever the question was about to win booze. So one of the questions was, who says that baked potatoes get mean girl energy? And Martha was like, oh, I don't know why I would have said that. Then when she sat down next to Alice, she's like, she was giving mean girl energy. And then later on she spoke to baked potato and she's like, oh, I said it in the diary room. She's two-faced, she's a liar, and she's a bitch. And you know what? I'm not supposed to be swearing in these videos because the sound keeps getting took out, but it's because of things like this that drives me insane. Just be honest. Just tell her why you said it. It's not a big deal. It's not difficult. They then asked who called Shagan wonderfully born or basically born or whatever. Nathan knew it was him instantly, but he allowed everybody else to take the phone and he's like, oh, it might not have been me. Just stand up and take the phone. Calling somebody born is not the worst thing you can say. Sarah picked up the phone and it was Dean's partner, and he was distraught, and people on Facebook were like, oh, for God's sake, he's been in there for 3 weeks, not a year. Oh, for God's sake, talk about exaggerating, being a drama queen. I could not disagree more, because if I didn't speak to my partner for 2 days, 3 days, right, no joke, I would be like that as well, because when you're in the Big Brother house, a day feels like a week. You've got nothing to do, there's no music, no TV, nothing. You're literally sitting about. It's actually worse than prison, because in prison they've got more things to do than that. So the time is dragging on. It's like a pressure cooker. You're being watched. Everything that you're saying and doing, you're like, oh God, like I hope I didn't say the wrong thing or whatever. I would imagine that it would be so stressful. So he's not seen his partner for 3 weeks, and I thought that his reaction was valid. I'd have been, God fuck knows what I'd have been like. So they ended up winning the drink and Lily was steaming. And she's like, can I answer the phone? And everybody's like, no, you better not, because it might be a message for somebody. And Sarah was like, don't answer the phone, because if that's my partner, I'll be raging. So the phone rang, and who answers the phone? See, when she stood up, I was like, that, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was actually raging, and I'm always saying that if I went into the Big Brother house, certain things would happen, where I would get chucked out, and this would be that time. If she picked up the phone and that was my partner, and she wasn't giving me the message properly or whatever, I'd be raging. And she's lucky that it was Ali's partner, because Ali took it well, and she even went into the diary room later and says, oh, like, she got something out of it too. No, absolutely not. And Sarah and Nathan were through the back talking about it, and they're like, that, she's so selfish, like, she's just like a child. She doesn't think of anybody else apart from herself. As I say, she's an egomaniac, and being drunk isn't even an excuse for it. I know that people think she's funny to watch on TV, but imagine she was your child. Now, her mum obviously does fuck all to teach her about anything in life and totally enables this behaviour, but imagine you worked with her and she behaved like this, and maybe you took food into work and she ate it or something, because she literally doesn't think anybody apart from herself. There's no fucking way I'd put up with this shit. Last night when Lily was drunk, she was sitting talking to Marcello, and he bumped into her and got drink on her arm. And I am not exaggerating, I was sitting eating my dinner, and I actually balked and I had to stop eating. I was like, oh my God, he's in an actual skis bag. And then later they were on the bed and he's like close up to her and he's like doing that with her hair, and I was like, oh my God, I'm actually going to be sick. I'm going to be sick thinking about it, for real. Thank God Ali was there to go over. Why were the rest of them just sitting there? And they're like, oh, have they kissed? As if it wasn't a big deal. She was drunk. And she's 20 years old and he's a 38-year-old man. I wouldn't have even have been as calm as Ali and been like, oh, playful. I'd have been like, ah, fucking get away from her, you mad fucking sex pest. I felt so sorry for Ali last night, because she deserved to get her message for her partner, and Lily's a fucking selfish bitch.